how I got into Supras was, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, was Gran Turismo. You know, I don't know how old you guys are, but I'm 29, and I liked to play Gran Turismo when I was a kid. You know, the first one on PlayStation, like the very first PlayStation. The cars almost looked like bricks, but you know, at the time it was great. So you start out, and if you guys have never played, I'll paint a picture for you. You start out, and you have all these manufacturers kind of all over your little map, and you have to buy a car. So I think they give you 25 or 30. No, I think they give you $3,000, and you gotta buy a car. So, you know, you couldn't afford anything cool. You couldn't afford you know, an RZ Supra Mark IV from Japan. You couldn't afford a GTR, you know, Cobra Mustang. You couldn't afford any of that stuff. I mean, you're basically looking at, and I don't even know if you could afford an FCRX7. So you're basically looking at a Mazda Miata or the MA70 from Japan, the 3-liter GT Limited. So would have been like, you know, digital dash, course right-hand drive, all that stuff. Jeez. So I bought this thing, and I bought the MK3, and I never looked back. No matter how many times I restarted that game, always bought one. I actually owned multiple ones. And then of course later I bought the Twin Turbo R, which was like $10,000 in that game, and then the Mark IV, and so on and so on. And even now in the new Gran Turismo, I think it's Gran Turismo Sport, they have the Turbo A. So love it. Own multiple again in that game. It's just, that's what I could afford, so it's what I was forced to play with for so long. I think it burnt itself into my brain, and I only dreamed of owning one. So I'll kind of go a little off topic. My first real car, was a 1986 Toyota Corolla GTS, and it came in pieces. So I put it together with a couple buddies. Basically lived on pizza and soda for, you know, a month, and you know, eventually it ran, and I drove it, and it was kind of a pile. So it got pulled off the road for being too loud. It needed a proper exhaust. So I sold it, and I bought a Mark III first thing. It was a non-turbo. It's an 86.5 shadow gray, light gray interior. It was an NA 5-speed. It had some stuff done to it, like the lowering springs and stuff like. It was just the coolest thing in the world to me. And my life's been full of these cars since then. I've owned basically every generation and every model of them, with the exception of a Turbo A. So 1JZ twin turbo, you know, I've owned Mark IVs. 1JZ big single, twin turbo R, all of it. I've owned them all, and still today. So who knows? Maybe I gotta complete the set in the future and get a Turbo A and just keep it nice and stock. I don't know. Maybe a Mark IV. Who knows? But that's how I got into Supras. I'm sure it's the same for a lot of you guys. So that's really how I got into these Supras, and my life's been a mess ever since. So let me know if it was Gran Turismo, or I'd like to be more interactive with everybody in the channel, with this channel, and get to know who's watching. You know, tell me something. Tell me how you got into cars, if it was Gran Turismo, or what car it is. Obviously you like Supras because you watched the video, but let me know your story about that, you know, in the comments. I think it would be super cool. Let's just try to be more interactive with this. That's the point of me making this content and sharing it with you guys. obviously, I mean, it's one-sided, right? Because you guys listen to my crap, and that's that. So let me know in the comments. As always, try to get back to you guys as soon as I can or as soon as I see it. It'd be really cool to see what got you guys into cars. Okay, see you guys later.